For example, when you look all kid, a home, a family gives a very good context because uh, uh, I think Meghna, and every now and then it's good if you can say yes. Will that be okay? Since I can't hear you. Can you see the PPT? Okay, anyway. All right, so, okay, very good. Oh, thank you, Rashikar. You are there too. It's good to know there are two people apart from Meghna. All right. So, like I was saying, it's very important. I mean, to have a context, and that is how the language is. Child gets a very good context at home, because from the beginning, all the basic needs. So starts from I am thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm scared, and all that stuff. See, that is how the language is learned. And one of the problems that we face when we learn English is that um, we are exposed to English in a tremendous way when we go to college, and that is not an immediate context. That's a very academic, and that is where people get scared. So today I want to start with a little bit of basics. So we'll talk about our surrounding first. Okay. So now, if you want to talk about our surrounding, so we can always start with there is and there are. There is and there are is from a determinant family. For example, when you look, it's from family of this and that. See, when I look at an object, I can say this is. For example, in my room here, I can say this is a chair and that is a window. Okay, but that is a concrete object when I can see it. But there are different things that are not very concrete. For example, my dream. Uh, let's imagine that I get a dream every day. So I want to talk about that. I can't say in my dream this is it. I say in my dream there is a beautiful island. You got that? So there is also a determinant. Okay. For example, we used to talk about things around us, and we'll start with there is. Meghna, I need your help. Okay, this is where I change my slide. Got it. Now, the grammatical rule, for example, there is used for singular. Can you see that slide? How about an S? Okay, I presume that you're not there. Let me go on. So there is used for singular, okay, and the contracted form of there is when you write you can say there is or there apostrophe s or theirs. That is how you can say it. And a negative, for example, when I say there is, I'm talking about something that is present there, and negative is something we talk about something that isn't there. So there are no there isn't. Uh, uh, there isn't a bus from Dilshuk Nagar to some place. Okay, and the question form of that is interrogative. Is there? All right. So and so is the plural also. For example, there is for singular and there are is for plural. Plural is something more than one. I know it's all the basic, but we need to follow the rules, so I'm going to talk about it. So there are, so anything that is more than one is a plural. So there are buses from Nagar. I can't say yes. No, it's not true. There are buses. There aren't any buses if I agree. Yes, there aren't any buses. Okay. And the question form of that is are there? So now, before I want you guys to pay attention here. Some, I'm going to show you this uh, video, this slide, the next slide, and I'll give you 30 seconds. Can you hear me? Um, 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds, I'm going to ask you a few questions about that picture, and you'll have to answer that. Yes, for the poor man. Okay. There you go. You have 30 seconds to take a good look at this picture. After this, I will ask you some questions about this picture, so, and I want you to answer me. It's good if you can answer me. That's it. All right. I'm going to ask questions in the chat. What do you see in the picture? Meghna, can you answer me? What do you see in the picture? Are there any women? And if you can chat back to me with the full sentence, that would be really great. Are there? Oh, very good. So, uh, but you have to answer the question. Do you see any trees? So the answer has to be in full sentence. Can you answer me that in full sentence? You have to use there is or there are and answer me back. How about that? Keep it interactive so that it doesn't get bored. I don't die through the course. Oh, good. But then that's a right thing. But let's stick to this. How about you use there is or there are to talk about the same trees? Can you? Are there any women? Do you remember how many? Can you write back? Rashekar, if you are there, you can also participate. Let's see who wins. Let's make it a little competitive. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Smart observation. But we'll look at the picture once again, and let's look at the picture and then describe it. Okay, boy, you are very close to it. There are 6 women. That's a close observation. Really good. So how about now? Can you describe this place? I'll tell you one sentence, and you have to give me another one. I say there are trees in this picture. Can you continue? Can you add on to this idea about describing the picture? Meghna and Rashekar, if you can, please. I say there are trees in this picture. Let me just type that for you. Can you continue? There are many trees in this picture. Can you add some more ideas? Okay, that's really smart. But how about uh, you cannot contradict when I say there are many trees. There cannot be few trees, right? Well, how about you change an idea? Okay, there are other things that you can look at the picture. Look at this picture. Uh, for example, there are huts. How about Rashikar isn't very active, I guess. He just came to pacify me, I guess. Can you? Meghna, there are few trees. Let me give you another sentence for you so that there are a few huts. And also, let me correct. You said there are few trees in the picture. Okay, a few and a few. There's a difference. Okay, a few is positive, few is negative. For example, let's say we are preparing for an examination, and I say there is little time. That means I'm really studious. And if I say there is a little time, I'm lagging. I'm not showing interest because I'm considered okay. There is a little time. You see, got that? So there is little time. That means in a hurry. There's little money. That means no money. There's little time in the sense there's no time. It's right there. We need to attend the examination, something like that. Okay. So that is how there are few hurts is in this sent in this scene. It's wrong. Okay. Anyway, let's. I think it's a little boring. I'll ask you a puzzle. How about a puzzle? And let's see who can answer that. Okay, it's a very big place. There are a lot of benches. The room has got a public address system. There are some big vehicles. It is very crowded. There are some very big toilets, stinky toilets. What places? What am I talking about? Who can answer me? Can somebody answer me what it is? It is a very big place. There are lots of benches. The room has got a public address system. There are some big vehicles. It is very crowded. Does it ring a bell? How about I'll I'll give you the initials of two words. Leila, can you try and answer? I think you are the only studious one I have right now. Yeah, okay. Uh, but just since it's an English class, let's make it like any answer that you're going to give to us. Let's make it a full sentence answer. How about that? So can you say it is a bus stop next time? Okay. Let me ask you another question. But this time I'm not going to show you the PPT, so you got to listen very carefully and then answer me back on the chat. Okay? There are now, but when I say that, listen to me. I mean, I'm just using there is, there are to describe this place. That's the application function of there is, there are. Okay? So the next riddle is this: there are lots of children. Okay, and there are pictures on the wall. It's very noisy. There are many toys. There are few women controlling the children. What place is this? Should I repeat? There are. It's a big room. Okay, let me start there. It is a very big room. There are pictures on the wall, cartoon pictures on the wall. There are many children. It is very noisy. There are a few women taking care of the children. Can you guess it? Come on, you can. Let me just give you. Okay, that's right. Yeah, you can also call it a kindergarten. You're smart. That's really good. So let me show you another riddle. And after this, you need to ask me a riddle. Oh boy, I just showed you the answer, isn't it? Okay, I'll ask you another one. There you go. It's a very big room. There is one big desk with a grand chair. There are a few chairs in front of the desk. It's one man or woman's room or office. Students let to go there. What room is this? The time's ticking. You have it on your screen. It's a very big room. There's one big desk with a grand few. There are a few chairs in front of the desk. It's one man, woman's office. Students let to go there. Any other student? Apart from Meghna, if they are online, please, you can also answer. How about you, Meghna? A full sentence. No minus points for a wrong answer. The clue is in the last sentence. Students dread. Dread means are scared. Very scared. That's a dread. Okay, able to guess it. Let me give you the answer. I'll type it so that you can see it. Okay. Yes, it is an office room, but there are many office rooms, so it has to be specific. So let me wait for your answer. It is office because it says it's men's and women's office, obviously, in the sentence. That's right. Very good. Now it is your turn to ask me a question. It can be of three sentences. It has to have there is, there are. It's very simple. You can talk about a kitchen. If you have to talk about a kitchen using there is, there are, it is a small room. There are many utensils. There is a fridge or something like that. You ask me a question and let me answer. I promise I'll answer in 30 seconds. How about that? Can we do that? Answer me a question. Ask me a question using there is, there are. Anybody can ask me a question. Okay, meanwhile, you can also, while Meghna, you think about it, or Rashekar, you think about what you want to ask me, I'll show you a slide. And I also want you to look at it and find out who is the killer. That's another puzzle. Okay? But meanwhile, please do ask me. I think this is a little difficult one. I think I should solve it myself. Let's solve it together. Meghna, can you see my cursor on the screen? If you can, please say yes. My cursor moving on the screen. Oh, good. So let's say this is chair 1, the lady, chair 2, chair 3, and chair 4. So where is the killer? Chair 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, and chair 4. Who is the killer? And if you answer this, you also have to justify. Type your answer. Why do you feel so? The time is ticking. Well, I got the answer. Can I crack it? Or you want some more time? Ah, that's right. Absolutely. But why do you feel so? Why don't you type it? Why? Why do you feel that chair 2 is the murderer? I know the answer, I can, but let me wait for you. Also, meanwhile, is there anybody already thought about what they want to ask me about the room? Oh boy, that's really smart. Yeah, also I think you showed this tone. You guys have known this earlier, is it? Okay, so now, is there anybody who's asking me puzzle with there is, there are? I want to see how much you have understood about there is, there are. Any questions so far in terms of there is, there are? It's a pretty basic subject that we're dealing with. Anything that you want to talk about, for example, I can look at my room and talk about it using there is and there are. But there's one thing that we have to remember is that when we use there is, there are, we also have to remember that we have to use articles a or an for the countable nouns. Countable nouns are basically those which you can count with numbers, like one boy, two boy, three boys, two boys and three boys, sorry, one chair, two chairs. Uncountable are those that do not use the numbers to count. They have other system of counting. measuring them. For example, any food items that we buy, uh, pulses like rice or cereals. So we don't buy it in one rice, two rice, or liquids for that matter. So we buy them in different measurement system, right? So they use it. They use what do you call a different measurement system, like 1 kg rice or 2 kgs of rice. But countable nouns, we need to number them. And A is similar to 1. It is not 1, but similar to 1. And for example, there is, I can't say there is airplane. Now you need to understand the use of articles a or an is very important when we're talking about a countable noun. And it is determined by basically the sound that we produce. Okay, let me just type it on a whiteboard. Okay, let me rub this thing. Do I have an eraser here? Okay, let me write it. I have a very bad handwriting, so please don't laugh. I saw a airplane. Okay, can you see that? It's a pretty beautiful handwriting. I think my daughter can do it better than that. Okay, here you go. I saw a airplane. This is wrong because the article A and the A of the airplane sound similar, giving an impression there is no article at all. When I write, perhaps people can see it. Like I saw a airplane, but that is not how we speak. When we speak, we say, I saw a airplane. I saw an airplane. So what happens here? Article A mixes with the sound of the airplane A, giving an impression that there is no article at all. And that is why we use an airplane. So now that's a trick here. So when we use and, where the sound of the first letter, a countable noun stands, is very similar to the sound of A. For example, umbrella. What's the first sound? It is not U. If it was umbrella, then we can say it is a umbrella. But it is not umbrella, it is umbrella. So you have to say it is an umbrella, because you can't use A there. So A merges with the sound of there. So that is the use of A or an. That is how we use. It is determined by the sound that we produce. Okay? So that's one thing we also have to keep in mind when we talk about there is and there are. Alright? And yeah, that's it. So now can we go back to the puzzle, another puzzle? Let me show you another puzzle. That will come back. This we are done. Okay, can you see that? Meghna, can you see that? Okay, so let me ask you this question. It is a very noisy place. There are a lot of young people. The place smells of stale food. Stale means something that is spoiled. It has got benches and desks. Food is not very expensive here. What am I talking about? I'm very sorry. What am I talking about? Can anybody guess this? Let me repeat once again. It is a very noisy place. No, you're wrong this time. I know that. I think the stale. You thought about the fish. No, no, no. There's something else. It's a very noisy place. There are lots of young people. The place smells of stale food. It has got benches and desks. Food is not very expensive here. On beach, the food is very expensive. Ask me, I know. No, wrong again. But you're answering in words. You got to answer in full sentences. Also, okay. Tell me, what is it? Last chance. So think very carefully. So, maybe you have 30 seconds to think about it. Meanwhile, let me repeat it. It's a very noisy place. Think about types of noisy place that we have. But about this place, there are a lot of young people actually. Beach is a place where everybody come. Young, old, black, white, yellow, everybody. The place smells of stale food. It has got benches and desks. Food is not very expensive here. I think the one thing, absolutely, that's right. Yeah, you're right. It's a canteen. All right. Uh, Now, can you ask me a question? Because here, this is where I want to see if you can start using there is and there are. All right. So think about a place and describe it in fewer words, few sentences. All you got to do is very simple. There is, there are, there is, there are. That's all. Nothing more. And you can write the description in the chat so that I can look at it and answer you. Anybody can, even Rashekar, if he's there, you can also ask me a question using there is and there are, and and then later we'll talk about how we can apply about it, how we can start using about it very functionally. Are you thinking about asking me? At least yes, no, so that I can wait. Meanwhile, I'll also think about something that I can ask you guys. Okay, while you think about it, let me ask you another question. It is a very serious room, okay? It is a very serious room, and um, a lot of people come periodically there. There are people in suit, black coats. There is a big desk um, uh, in the center of the room. Okay, and people usually stand up when the person who sits on the chair comes. What am I talking about? Let me let me type that so that yes, that's right. That's right. It's a coach. How about you ask me some? Yeah, I've been asking a lot. So this has to be interactive. I know the medium is not very interactive, but you can still type your questions to me, or also your uh, the puzzles that we are making now. I encourage you to ask me a puzzle. Ah, come on. Now you can ask me. Just use there is and there are. That's all. There is or there are. You say we don't dare to ask you. So how many of you are online on this now? Is there anybody who's with you? Can I also know who's there with you? So I can say hi to them as well. Okay, okay, all right, that's good. Okay, now there's one more thing. Let me ask you another question. Using there is there are. Look at the way I found the questions. Uh, every question that I'm forming today, I'm asking you today, is reflecting back on what we're learning today. We are learning that there is and there are, the use of there is and there are. Okay, let me ask you. You can also use it. Uh, it is a small portable moving thing. There are windows, there are seats to it, and it is very expensive. It's a very small one. Can you guess what it is? What am I talking about? It's a small portable moving thing. There are windows and there are benches. No, it is not portable. Yeah, but I mean, you cannot really. You are right, but that is not what I'm thinking about. How about one more thing? Guess. Take another guess. It moves on land. It is a car. Absolutely. Right. So how about you ask me now? Use the simple form of there is and there are, and you can ask me questions. You can make a puzzle out of it. I'll just take a break and let's answer this question. Um, okay, I'll come back to that. Let's look at this. It is a big room. It's cold and desolate. The room has got a lot of beds. There are people. It has got many windows. I'm very sorry. It doesn't. It has not got any windows. It's right. It smells of medicine. Can you think about it? What is it? It is a big room. It is not a hospital because hospitals have windows. It can be a part of an hospital. Nope. Even pharmacies have windows. Take another guess. It smells of medicine. No. Of uh, okay. Let me add another thing. It is dark. It is a big room. It is dark. It is cold and desolate. The room has got a bed. There are people. It has not got any windows. It smells of medicine. One more guess. It's getting difficult, isn't it? Think about it quickly. People don't like to go there. That's another that's another clue I can give you. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, look at it. Now, how can we apply it? For example, yes, it's not, the spelling is not correct. Absolutely, you're right. Now, uh, uh, let me show you another one. Look at this. What comes twice in week, once in a year, never in day? This is just a break, so that let's not think about there is, there are anymore for a while. Think about it. What comes twice in week, once in a year, never in day? No, wrong answer. Think about it. What comes? I have highlighted the word so that it becomes easier for you. What comes twice in week, once in year, never in day? After this, we'll watch a small video and then we'll discuss about it. Can you guess it? Okay, it's pretty simple. All right, it's very simple. Look at it. Um, what comes twice in week? The two E's. Once in year, the E. Okay. Now, just to refresh your mind so that you don't get bored about listening to me for a long time. What has hands but cannot help? One more question so that you guys don't sleep there. Yep. What has hands but cannot clap? How about it? Should I give you a clue? You need to type back your okay, clue. Clue it is then. So the clue is it's circular, it's on the wall. Yeah, that's simple as that. Okay, let's get back to the class again. So today we were discussing about there is and there are. Okay, see now it is very important functionally. I know it is a basic language thing, but that is how we build. Always imagine that the way we learn language, any language for that matter, is like you take a bucket of water and put a drop in it. It makes a wave, right? So that is how language expands. First, we learn to talk about ourselves, and then things around us, right? Got it. And then we go on to describe the things around us. Description is a little more difficult. You need to have comparatives. I mean, your range of vocabulary has to be a little more there, right? So now today we're just talking about the things around us. And I encourage you now, so look at your room that you're sitting there, okay, and think about the things that you see. And I want you to, in the chat room, I want you to type 2 or 3 things that you see using there is and there are, okay? 2 sentences using there is that you can see in your room, and there are. Like I said in the beginning, there is for singular and there are is for plural, okay? So how about Meghna? Look at your room very carefully and identify things that you can see, and can you, I would like to really know the kind of room you're sitting. So can you describe it for me? Quickly you can type it so that Meghna, you're there. All right, cool. All right, and anything else that you see around you? Cool, that's nice. Okay, let me show you another picture, and in this picture I'll give you 30 seconds again. Yeah, so you have 30 seconds. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so please look at this picture for 30 seconds, and I'm going to ask you questions about this picture, and you will have to answer me in full sentences. Is that right? So if you have understood the question, please say yes, please type yes, and you can go ahead. You get 30 seconds to look at it, and then I'll ask you questions. All right, you have 20 seconds to go. We'll look back and we'll check how many of those you got correct. Okay, so your time's up. I'm going to change it now, change the slide. Now, this you can refer to make sentences as well. That's a good slide there. And now, I'm going to ask you a question and you will type your answer, please, okay? Are there any trees in the picture? And you have to type in full sentences. Are there any trees in the picture? I'm waiting. Oh, good. Are there any cars in the picture? Are there any cars in the picture? Yeah. Now here is where you need to look at You say there aren't any. Okay. When we say there are no cars or there aren't, if you use a contracted form aren't, let me type it for you. There are no cars or there are there aren't any cars. That is how you answer. Okay. So whenever uh, you got it. So there are no cars in the picture or there aren't any. If we use aren't, we have to use any. Okay. Um, yeah, yes, yes. And are there any cows in the picture? Are there any cows in the picture? Oh boy, your memory is really good. Okay, let me ask you, are there any giraffe in the picture? And how many, if there are? Are there any giraffe? Okay. Okay, let's check if you're right in that answer. Okay. Is there a shop in the picture? Is there a shop in the picture? Is there a shop in the picture? Yeah, now there aren't any shops. Are use. This is the correct form. Can you see that now? There aren't any shops. You answered there aren't any shop. That's a pretty good attempt. But there aren't any shops because we have are there. Hence the object has to be plural. Let's just see the video. Let's just see the video how describing things is so effective. Okay. And let me play your video. I will share a video with you here. And we'll watch it for 2 minutes. Uh, I am sorry, Meghna, we cannot upload the video because I think the video is a little, the size of the video is a little more than required to support this. Okay, but we're almost at the end of our class for 1 hour. Are there any questions that you would like to ask me so that I can help you with? Are there any questions? Okay, all right. So let's just look at one more puzzle and then we can stop the class. Yes, yes, that video is related to class actually. Uh, it was basically about um, a video of describing things, basically how the use of there is and there are can be so beautifully presented. It does look like a very simple class, but it has a very functional application of describing things. Let's assume that um, a graduating class from an engineering student wants to talk about his project. So he has to be very thorough with this. There is, there are. Sure, sure, I will do that. I'll send it through mail. You can also find it in YouTube. Okay. So is there anything that you would like to ask? One more time, Meghna and Rashikar, if there's anybody else who has joined the room, they can ask me a question. And then this is the first class, and I'm here Okay, first time, so let's do it better next time. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. All right. I had a good time and I had nice talking to you, Meghna.